It's easy to take the same route. There's over 50,000 miles of California state highway, and it only takes you to well-known destinations. But if you veer off the highway system, I mean really off it, away from the city streets, far from your neighborhood boulevard, you may just find yourself on one of Bartell's back roads.
A road can get you from point A to point B, but in my line of work, an adventure is just a detour away. So over the next half hour, I'm going to take you on some of my favorite back roads and locations you won't find on a tour.
These are Northern California stories, told from the Sierra mountaintops to the Valley river dumps. This is Bartell's Backroads.
All right, so there's a number of different ways you can watch Bartell's Backroads. One of them is on our new interactive map, and you can find it on abc10.com/backroads. It's an interactive map with a number of different stories, and you can actually create your own adventure. I'm gonna take you on an adventure out in Lincoln on a farm where we do a little yoga with goats. Not this guy.
The sun is shining and the hop field is growing strong. It's a perfect day to feed goats and roll out your yoga mat.
John Bartell here in Lincoln at Goat House Brewery, where we're doing a little goat yoga.
Goat yoga is pretty much what it sounds like.
It's as simple as the name. People, sometimes want to overthink it. It's really...
This is Kathy Johnson. She runs Goat House Brewing with her husband, Michael. They grow hops, make beer, and raise goats. Why did you come up with this?
There might have been some adult beverages involved.
An alcohol-inspired idea.
Yes, that's right. It's all...
Alcohol-inspired or not, the goats seem to love it.
Okay. Yeah, do you ever worry about these guys pooping on you?
Yes, I am right now.
Apparently, this is a valid concern. After all, the baby goats are not potty trained.
All right, so this is one of the things you're gonna have to look out for here. It's called the recycled alfalfa, AKA goat poop.
You're also gonna have to watch what the goats eat.
Yeah, of course. Goats will eat just about anything. So
don't bring your good mat in.
no, don't bring your good mat.
Whoa.
Yes.
If you can get over the pooping and the eating, the goats are pretty amusing.
All right, how's the goats help you with your yoga?
They don't.
They don't help, huh?
They're here for support.
Okay.
Obviously, yoga is not the main focus.
It's supposed to make you feel connected back to farming and agriculture.
Now, do you think that they think we're really weird?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you really care?
No.
No.
When the session is over, the goats get fed, and the people get beer.
Cell service is spotty on the back roads and it's hard to get a signal, but there's a back road in Lassen County that's listening for signals that's out of this world.
If you listen closely, there's a symphony of sound at the Lassen National Forest. There's the bubbling of Bumpus Hell volcanic pit, the call of the songbirds, and then there's this. Just below Bernie Mountain, a ballet of satellite receivers are in the middle of an intricate dance.
Welcome to the Hat Creek Observatory, a science lab listening for aliens.
The acronym is called SETI, which is the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence.
This is John Richards, lead observer for SETI.
You guys are looking for aliens.
We're looking for the radio signal evidence of aliens.
The Hat Creek Observatory was built by astronomers at UC Berkeley in the 1950s. Then, in the early 2000s, big companies like Dell and Microsoft dumped a bunch of money into the facility and installed 42 of these radio receiving dishes.
So if I hang out here long enough, are you guys going to be able to read my thoughts?
No, sorry, wrong frequency.
Today, a private organization by the name of SRI pays the bills, and the nonprofit group SETI uses it to scan the skies.
Why do you have so many of these?
We have so many of them, we spread it up, and they all combine electronically into one, the equivalent of one large dish.
The combination of dishes is called an array, and they were built in the Lassen forest for a reason.
So we don't get a lot of the radio frequency interference because they're far away, and also we have these hills and mountains in the way.
Without radio interference on Earth, the receiving dishes can listen for signals in solar systems light years away.
We use this effect called the Doppler effect.
The process is complicated, but basically, the dishes are programmed to listen for stars every 90 seconds. If it picks up a radio signal, it alerts scientists.
Every time that's ever happened, which has been half a dozen times, we've ruled it out.
So you haven't found anything so far?
I haven't found anything.
Researchers at SETI have been scanning the galaxy for over a decade. Now, that may seem like a long time, but you have to remember, there's a lot of stars in the sky.
Hundreds of billions of stars in our own galaxy, right? And we're just looking at this one little section.
Searching for alien radio signals is clearly a daunting task, but somebody's got to do it.
What you're saying is this could take decades.
It could take decades or hundreds of years, who knows?
You got to think about it this way. If no one is listening for aliens, we may never hear them.
Alright, so unfortunately, I didn't hear any aliens on my trip, but you can try for yourself. Come on down to the Hat Creek Observatory Monday through Friday. Gates are open from 9 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Get this, you can listen for free. Sometimes interesting destinations are hidden in plain sight, but oftentimes you don't have to go far to find them. That was the case when I went urban exploring with a guy who has a knack for finding places without a map.
GPS will only get you so far.
So we are heading east at the moment.
That's because places that Maverick Woodward looks for aren't on the map.
And it's kind of like your own kind of Indiana Jones discovery.
This discovery is just behind the sand trap at Whitney Oaks Golf Course.
What is this here?
So this is the Whitney Pyramid, and it is actually a tomb.
The 15-foot tall granite structure is the resting place for one of Rockland's wealthiest landowners.
Joel Parker Whitney built this. He built the fort, which is the wall around it first.
The pyramid hides in plain sight, but Maverick found it because he's what you call an urban explorer.
And what that is just a group of us that get together and we go out and we go investigate all of these abandoned, weird, unique places that most people don't know about.
Maverick started the Sacramento Urban Exploring Team in 2016. His Facebook page is a treasure trove for unusual places.
Way back over there, that's the last remaining flour mill that was on the banks of the Sacramento River.
Many of the places that explorers visit have significant historical value, but they're often neglected.
We want to document all of this stuff before it goes away.
Maverick likes to preach responsible exploring.
You don't need to go in.
He tells people not to trespass and to only take pictures, not artifacts.
So this is the old city incinerator building. So before we buried all of our trash, we would burn all of our trash.
Oftentimes, exploration locations are on public land or viewable from a parking lot.
You probably pass by this thing every day.
You absolutely pass by this, especially if you're heading toward the I Street Bridge.
Other locations require some driving or hiking.
Look at this.
So this boat is the old Spirit of Sacramento.
History is a big part of urban exploring, and the Spirit of Sacramento is rich with history.
It was previously called the Puta. It was owned by John Wayne. He bought the boat specifically for his movie Blood Alley.
After John Wayne was done with the boat, it was sold off a number of times and even sunk a number of times. Last year, it was dry docked along Garden Highway and accessible for pictures, as long as you stay behind the signs.
And that's what we do. We just take pictures, and there's great shots of this boat even without being able to get into it.
You don't need a plane ticket to be an urban explorer, just a sense of adventure and an interest in witnessing something before it's gone.
Navigating the back roads isn't easy. That's why I did it for you. Bartell's Backroad interactive map shows you exactly how to find those interesting spots. Just log on to abc10.com/backroads to start your adventure. When we come back, we're heading to Calaveras County to do a little frog catching. All right, we're continuing our journey through some of my favorite back roads, and sometimes on these back roads, you run into some backwards traditions. Take Angels Camp, for example. They had me catching bullfrogs for their annual Jumping Jubilee.
There's a fierce competition going on at the Calaveras County Fairground,
Yeah, I want to win.
and all eyes are on the contenders.
Won 7 times, 2 world records.
it could be anyone's game.
3, 2, 1, drop it. Come on, behind it.
Welcome to the Calaveras County Jumping Frog Jubilee, a 90-year tradition inspired by author Mark Twain.
The basic storyline is two miners bet on a couple of frogs on whose frog could jump the farthest.
The book is called The Celebrated Jumping Frogs of Calaveras County, and Mark Twain put the little town of Angels Camp on the map. It also made bullfrogs, the most wanted animals in town.
All right, well, without frogs, you can't have a Jubilee. So the only way to get these guys is to catch them in the wild.
There's one down in the corner of the lake here.
This is Mike Nash.
Right there, Dad.
And his daughter Rachel. And they're the designated frog catchers.
Well, right now I'd say he's big enough for competition.
Mike is the frog spotter.
When you shine your light on them, eyes reflect back at you.
Rachel is the frog catcher.
How long have you been doing this?
Honestly, probably ever since I could crawl.
Rachel makes frog catching look easy. Me, on the other hand, I could definitely use some practice. Frog catching is definitely a skill.
I touched him. I didn't get him, though.
A skill I don't have.
That's 3 misses.
Yeah, 3 misses. I feel like I'm not helping the cause here at all. How we doing?
Rachel and Mike said I might have better luck with a net.
Now!
So they sent me up with junior frog hunters, Kaylee and Aurora.
How do you feel? Do you feel like that's a good jumper? Do you guys feel like that's...
Well, sometimes you test their leg.
It's okay.
Well, if you ask me, okay frogs are better than no frogs at all.
What, do you want to kiss a frog?
I'm good.
One of the perks of driving the back roads is getting to see the roadside attractions. They make for unique selfies. This next story is about a roadside attraction that flew away, a mystery of prehistoric proportion.
There's something missing at the old Dixon gas and shop. It was an unmistakable landmark.
Probably in this location over here,
Former Dixon Mayor Jack Batchelor knew it well.
maybe 3 or 4 stories tall. I mean, you could see it probably from a quarter of a mile down the freeway.
This is Dixie, a 71-foot fiberglass dinosaur.
Why Dixie?
Well, I guess it's short for Dixon.
Dixie was sort of an advertising stunt for a cigarette store called Cheapers. The 14,000-pound dinosaur was flown by helicopter and placed along I-80 in Dixon.
It didn't meet county regulations in terms of signage and codes.
The county of Solano didn't like the prehistoric marketing stunt. The 5-story dino wasn't permitted, and zoning officials debated over the fiberglass statue for years, until one day, Dixie disappeared.
Yeah, as dinosaurs do. You know, they came in and then it became extinct in Dixon.
In 1996, Dixie was airlifted again and relocated to the Cheapers cigarette store in Benicia. Unfortunately, Dixie was renamed to Benny, but in 2005, the dino disappeared again, but this time for good.
We had lots of articles and lots of times.
Few people really know what happened to Dixie.
It made national news.
But John Roscoe knows exactly what happened to the dinosaur.
My kids said I had a fiberglass addiction.
John was the owner of Cheapers convenience stores, and I met him at his home in Fairfield.
We decided that the stores ought to have a theme.
You won't find a Cheapers store today, and I'll tell you about that in a moment, but if you go down to the Power Mart in Lathrop, you can see what one used to look like. You can't miss it. It's the one with the giant UFO on the roof.
We've done foolish things before.
Dixie was by far John's favorite fiberglass sculpture.
There it is.
But these days, it's pretty hard to see.
This is going to be the head.
Dixie is in 5 pieces, laying on John's property overlooking Solano County and I-80, where she used to stand.
We trucked it here, and it's been here ever since.
The reason Dixie ended up here is a little complex. You see, a while back, John ran into some trouble with federal prosecutors. In 2011, he pled guilty to making false statements to a bank. John eventually sold off all the Cheapers stores.
Everything's a learning experience.
All that is behind John now, but what's not clear is what's in store for Dixie.
This area has burned twice since Dixie's been here.
Dixie is not in the safest spot. Back in 2008, wildfires ripped through John's property.
The wind shifted a little and it
the embers come over.
In 2017, another wildfire burned John's house to the ground, and it was another close call for Dixie.
We had it engineered to be safe, and we had it engineered to survive.
Besides some of the fading paint, the 70-foot dyno is still in remarkable shape.
Can easily be put back together again if the residents of any town want to put Dixie together. Come and see me.
John has come up with a creative way to move Dixie in the past, but this time he's waiting for someone else to hatch up a new plan to resurrect her.
Oftentimes, back roads lead you to backwaters. There's a number of water-related stories on the ABC 10 Bartell's Back Road map. When we come back, I'm going to show you a watering hole that attracts an eclectic crowd. When you think of good tasting water, you may think of getting it from a water bottle, but in Nevada City, there's a natural spring where people fill up their own water bottles with raw water.
When it comes to homegrown vegetables, Lillian Grossi likes variety.
We've got a lot of lettuce seedlings, we've got Brussels sprouts, we've got some peas.
This year, her plants are off to a good start.
They seem to start growing faster.
In fact, she says they got a head start.
These will start to sprout in 2 days, and it'll take 4 for the regular water.
Lily doesn't use fertilizers or Miracle Grow. Her secret is in the water.
So it goes, this water makes your sprouts go twice as fast.
Yeah.
This isn't just any water. It's water from a roadside spring in Nevada City.
It's good water. It does good things for your mind.
On any given day, you'll find a line of cars waiting to get water at Bitney Spring.
Probably come every week.
I come about once a month.
People here come for a variety of reasons.
Well, the well water where I live has got a funny taste.
They don't seem to mind the warnings posted by Nevada County health inspectors.
You know, if I get a little sick, it's not going to hurt me any, but I never have from this water, and I've been drinking it off and on for 10 years.
Bitney Springs is pretty popular around here, but few people know exactly where the water's coming from.
I don't offhand.
Maybe they're the folks that lived here.
Yeah, 20 years ago, the head frame was still here.
To understand the origin of Bitney Springs, you have to talk to this guy.
I'm Kenneth Leonard Holbrook.
Ken Holbrook is an heir to the old Holbrook mine, which is situated about a mile from Bitney Springs.
How far down would the mine have gone?
1,000 feet.
The Holbrook mine has since been filled in, but Ken says back in the 1870s, his ancestors hit water while digging. And to keep the mine from flooding, they installed a drainage pipe.
Drainage for the mine. And ended up being, they called it Bitney Springs.
Bitney Springs got its name from Fred and Alice Bitney, who built a store at the end of the pipe in the 1930s.
When I was a little boy, there was just one pipe here.
In the 1970s, the local Lions Club built a wooden structure and added more filling stations.
Have a mung bean.
A mung bean.
Yeah.
Today, the water is considered raw or untreated.
It's got a distinctive flavor, mung bean.
So that means drink the water at your own risk.
All right, you're gonna need a backpack for this next story because we're gonna do a little hiking with llamas. In the meantime, check out some of my other hikes on Bartell's Backroads. You'll find it at abc10.com/backroads. All right, so we're wrapping up our journey through some of my favorite back roads in Northern California. On some of these back roads, you gotta do a little backpacking. But I found a way to lighten the load when I visited a llama ranch in Sonora.
It's a busy time of year for Greg Harford.
It's very good, high demand. So any business, when there's high demand, is good, whether it's widgets or llamas.
Greg is a llama breeder, and the reason his llamas are in such demand is because they're very specific llamas.
Correct, they're all pack llamas. So these are, none of them are fiber llamas.
Pack llamas that you can actually rent.
These, when I rent these, I'm not renting you.
Correct. You're going by yourself. So these are pack animals for city people.
Greg is operating one of the only rent a llama programs in the state. But before you can take them out, the llamas have to get to know you.
Yes, you're a good boy. He was smelling my breath. That's a herd identifier.
Llamas require a certain standard of respect.
Did you brush your teeth and stuff?
I did. I did brush my teeth today.
You see, if llamas don't like you, they'll let you know right away.
Most spitting is from llama to llama. Llamas don't really like to spit because it doesn't taste good. And that was a warning spit.
All right, suck it in.
Once you have the llama's respect, you can hit the trail.
We got the llama cam running. So, how long can these guys walk?
You can walk them from sun up to sundown, but they're like humans. They prefer 8 to 10 hours.
Llamas are docile animals, and you may be asking yourself, why would I want to rent one?
Easy handling. They are easy to load up, and they're easy to care for, and they're so durable because they evolved in the high Andes.
Greg says pack llamas are great for older hikers or families with small children. The best part is, they feed themselves.
The thing you gotta remember about llamas, they're always hungry.
That's true.
Llama rentals will run you about $95 a day, which is pretty affordable, considering they carry about 65 pounds worth of your camping gear. All roads in Northern California lead to a story, but it's up to the driver to find the ending. And you can find plenty of ideas for your own adventures on Bartell's Backroads interactive map. It allows you to experience some of Northern California's little-known locations.
If you have any other locations that you want me to check out, send me a message on my Facebook. So get out there, explore, and create your own adventure.